chart. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover the astrology. I do twin flame coaching, blah, blah, blah. So we don't like long intros. Let's get into the energy for this month and see what potentially could be coming through for you. Now, I do see your second house really lit up, and that's all to do with self-esteem. It may have been stress-related dynamics, especially when we had Mercury retrograde. We're in shadow until the 13th. So if you found that nervous energy was coming up due to circumstances, it was heavy hitting, you were having to eat on the run, there was circumstances relating to expenses and things not moving ahead effectively, you may find between now and the 13th, you'll find solutions inside of it, but you would have found problems connected to the second house. So second house can be networking, trying to achieve, finding a job, trying to get that momentum happening. Now, you will have creative ideas, and that's due to the fact that we have Neptune and Pisces at the moment, and we have a new moon in Pisces that is coming up on the 13th. So let's have a look at your chart, Capricorn. Okay, I'll write this down. Let's have a very quick look. Interesting. Now, as to those of you that had any creative pursuits, maybe luxuries, things may have been more expensive. This could have been expenses relating to, trying to tie up loose ends with your credit card debts, paying for old Christmas presents and things like that. Whatever you had done, it kind of was a little bit haunting, and it should be alleviated at this point. And you will find that as we move forward, any changes that you're making, you may be that you found that you're looking at your finances and you're thinking, okay, I need to change some things around. Also, the things that I'm eating, the things that I'm doing, it can be your pastimes. They may have been quite taxing or quite costly, and maybe they weren't flowing quite effectively. Your value systems inside of those circumstances were changing, and you may have had to have been quite flexible during that process. Now, we do have Uranus and Taurus making 3 squares this year. We did have that happen in February. So think back to February of what potentially was going down in that area. And the next time it occurs is June the 14th. Now, this month, it is very psychic in nature. You do have subjects relating to your third house. So you may be really speaking your mind. You really may be thinking of getting a new car. It could be your dream car. You'll find if that's going to happen, the steps that you take, it's either you may have a vehicle right now that you're finding it's just not serving its purpose. It may be the need to upgrade on technology. You're trying to find a creative way to do that. But you also could be really communicating in a sense of your values, your belief systems, and some of the things that you're sensing. Now, this can be very much connecting to your work, the people around you. And it's weird because although I'm saying that play out, I don't think it initially happens. I think you're quite mute. You're quite observational. You've absorbed the information, and very similar to Virgo, and you're applying it or going to be really shifting some things about so it works more effectively for you. But some of you may be looking at circumstances to, hey, where do I see myself going? What's really my happiness? What does that look like? And I feel at a nature you're going to want to speak to people more like-minded in nature. You could have some friends coming and going, and some of you may actually hear from friends from the past that you hadn't spoken to in a while. Some of you may directly reach out and want to communicate with these individuals. Some of you, this is a joint venture. And funny enough, it's almost like with some of you, these people that you're talking to from the past, which, I'm not saying romance isn't, but we're focusing right now on the friendship group. And I'm saying this friendship group, it's like some of you may have had plans with these people. It might have been you went to school with them, or it just feels like you had a soul connection with them. And there's something of a like-minded nature, and you may not have talked to each other for eons, but it's almost like you're mirroring each other in a sense of what has happened in your life, and you're speaking about life and, and how things have gone. And, really the lessons that you learned inside those circumstances. Now, this could be coming through in various ways. It could be to your direct social crowd, but I really feel this is really going to quite benefit you inside your employment. The good thing is your finances can start picking up as the weeks progress. But I do feel there's something of a psychological nature to do with the unbreakable glass ceiling. I think really you're going to be looking at that shadow effect, and it's changing things up a little bit so that you can, change with the times, so to speak, change with your values. Some things that you're doing potentially you don't value any longer. Whatever this is, it could be a psychological block, and you're trying to work out what it is you need to do. It may be a very a large decision that you need to make. Some of you may feel it's a little bit like Groundhog Day, but you're not wanting it to be like that. And I do think you're really thinking on your feet. I sort of get this, sigh energy. It's like there's a frustration. There's something frustrating going on at the moment. For those of you that were crossing over with jobs, I do feel in the next 3 weeks you could see like a renewal of that cycle. Others of you, it's been just very tedious trying to operate under certain circumstances, crosswise, misunderstandings. Maybe you've reached a threshold, and for some of you it was wanting to launch things and it sort of took a backwards step initially. This can even be at a fatigue level that you're feeling you need to have a break, you need to have a drive. And sometimes it can be something as simple as that can really shake off that writer's block, so to speak, that you can get into that higher vibe and gain a perspective. It's a little bit like, doing a painting and stepping back from the canvas. If you continue on when you've kind of lost that momentum, you do tend to muck things up a little bit. So it's overcompensation, so to speak, and sort of, it can become quite choppy. So my guides are showing me that it's almost like you've got to step back from the painting and observe it. And it's after a particular circumstance. I'm kind of seeing that you guys are going to see maybe the steps you're going to need to take and what the solution will be. It's very, what would the word be? It feels frustrating. Whatever it is, it feels frustrating. Now, I do feel if there's been an unjust circumstance relating to work or what you've been putting into things, I do feel for many of you, this should start balancing out. And I feel there's something that needs to be shifted about. And I almost feel for some of you, especially if you've been on the fence or I feel, this month's really quite crucial for a very personal reason for you. Some of you in the relationship sector and employment sector, you're kind of looking at things, and I feel you'll probably find this by mid-month. You're intuitively tuning into, do I stay or do I go? This could be agitating you to a point that, and this is more for those of you that it's relevant, but it's a very strong energy. This could be if you're waiting for someone, because I do directly tune into the Twin Flame Collective. And, you may be picking up on other people's vibrations and, not wanting to absorb that energy. There could be some tension points brewing, and you're kind of seeing the writing on the wall, and you're thinking, okay, do I need to take direct action? And I really feel, pay attention to those signs. Neptune and Pisces is giving us a lot of foresight. Mercury retrograde gave us such as well. And the full moon in Virgo, which landed in which I did talk about on the Virgo moon. Yeah, the bigger picture, the 9th house, your values, your belief systems. It could have been ideals and religion. The bigger picture of where things were going. I think, for some of you, you were hoping you didn't have to own your power in a circumstance, and you were kind of hoping it would plateau out. And I feel for some of you, yes, it can, but there is a bit of a shift around with circumstances. Now, very separately, there can be a sixth sense that you're having, and you're feeling you need to react and take an opportunity or change things up. And I do need you to really trust your intuition on that, because I do know that by the time we move into April, the first 1 to 2 weeks, we can be getting a lot of foresight. We can be romanticizing things. We can be dreaming things up, having a lot of creative ideas. And for you, Pisces falls in your 3rd house. So it might be through word of mouth. It might be through your daily routine and the actions you're taking. It's very Mercury in nature. Actions and words are going to mean a lot. It's the steps you take after you have that download and what you do with it that's going to count. Because as we move towards the full moon in Libra, this is really where I see some momentum with the actions you're taking, but you're going to need to follow through. I do feel with Mars transiting Gemini, you can be, again, it's amplifying it. You may need to be very firm. And this can be with healthy boundaries with individuals, but as well as with yourself. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow through. This is how I'm feeling towards the circumstance. You know, you could really be, there could be subjects relating to home. You may need to put energy into a home-related environment, or it might be a family-related dynamic, and people may be calling upon you. Now, it can get quite passionate. Now, as for home endeavors, you may, towards, mid-month, start beautifying your home. Some of you may get to a point that you are looking at purchasing a new home. Others of you, it can be a shift altogether. But, you know, as we move towards April, I do feel all the steps that you're going to take this month, following your intuition, getting grounded, checking your health, making sure that people are respecting, you know, and it's not that we can force our opinions onto somebody, but it's that we're not allowing people to project at us constantly and prevent us from moving forward. Some of you may feel guilt relating to needing to be somewhere. It could be that somebody's overseas, or that they need you to be there. You may have had plans relating to a holiday or something to that degree. Think on it first before you act. Trust the process. But I do feel this push-pull energy. Now, you know, if you're having any vibrational angst to do with groups or family members, really try and resolve that by the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th week, well and truly. Because as we move towards the end of April, we are having Mars transit into the zodiac sign Cancer. And for you, this, you know, for everyone collectively, it's really not a nice place for Mars to be. It can be where we are very mute and we can have blow-ups. And B, let's have a look at where it lands in your chart. It's your Venus house. So, you know, very much tying up those loose ends, choosing correctly. If you feel your career sector is not for you, if you feel maybe overwhelmed and you need to tie up things, if you have that anxious energy towards that, you know, Mars transiting in that domain on the healthier octane can be, okay, I have this emotional feeling to do with X, Y, and Z. And in a healthier octane, we can get to a point we take direct actions. It gives us the energy and the heat to do that. But we do need to be really mindful that there can be conflict around that. There could be other circumstances happening in your life that calls you, that prevents you from addressing all of those areas. And it can be quite a tense time, so to speak, especially if you're in a relationship that you're really not enjoying. You know, now is the time this month to tune into that, to be prepared for the following month, because that tension point there can be a boiling point, and we don't want to leave it till, you know, the cauldron's on fire, so to speak. So just pre-warned, forearmed with that. Now, as for home, like I said, I do feel some of you renovating. I do feel some of you having to get things in order. It might be cleaning your home, rearranging your routine. And I see this by the second, 3rd, and 4th week, but pretty much from about the 15th, I see that shifting. You may come across some things and feel you need to change them, and you're really trying to work through it. Now, Some of you, it might be seeing a photo of a person. For others, it can be looking at how hard you had to work, you know, for what you directly have. And if that's going to be a permanency, if you have the ability to do such moving forward. Others of you, there can be a circumstance inside family where potentially there's a combative energy, or potentially even somebody that has been a little bit unwell. And there may have been fights and disputes for some of you surrounding this situation. I feel eyes on you, though. It's almost like they're wanting to hand it to you for some reason. Let's have a look at the child and family domain. That should ease up as we progress forward. Now, as I mentioned, we do have Uranus and Taurus making 3 squares this year. We had it in February on the 17th. Look back over the last 2 months to see any themes, because we had, as we moved into 2021, we had Uranus and Taurus go direct. So pretty much off the bat, moving into the beginning of January, we already had transformations happening in anxious energy. It can directly affect your nervous system. But we had Black Moon Lilith, we had Mars and Taurus, we had Uranus and Taurus. So all of those shifts for you were linked to the 5th house. Now, that could have been luxuries, your way of life. You know, we may have been overeating during that time, because it is very much Venus energy, and, you know, it's going to happen around the waist. It's a little bit like having that proverbial tire, but it was making us more hungry for luxury. And that could have been due to nerves, you know, maybe eating on the run, doing things to that degree. And I do feel in the month of March, I was going to say May, something major must be happening in May, I'm telling you. I feel as though you're going to be more active. It can be looking at your health and looking at your diet and seeing ways you can change it around, because you do have Gemini in the 6th house. So I feel you to be very protective of your secrets. There may have been people taking credit for work that you did. You also may, due to circumstances, and it might have been family related or love related for some of you, especially over the last 3 years, it's been quite heavy hitting for Capricorn, that you're a little bit protective of yourself inside of circumstances. And, you know, with the 6th house, it's about addressing those areas, getting your routine in order, you know, having a social life, feeling safe, and building a tribe around you that resonates with you, doing those things that take you to that happiness, but also knowing that all your experiences you've had can really, you know, take you forward in life. They're going to directly benefit you. For some of you that have shared care with children, I do feel you almost, you know, you may have felt cut out of a circumstance, or it could have been vice versa. And I see that coming up. Some of you, it may be that you are feeling that you want to upskill. And some of you may be actually, you know, you're paying attention to your pets. Your pets might be a little bit off. You also could have circumstances relating to your health coming up. But you'll find, because Mars will be there, it'll be a point where you can get your life in order. You can get your working domain in order. And it's going to give you up until April the 23rd. Where you will have more energy activated in that domain. It will be busy, so you need to have some time to actually have some downtime. And you may see links relating to your thoughts, your daily routine, that can be to the detriment to your health. So it's going to be incredibly important that you stay as organized as possible. I did explain on the previous video, it's a really handy tool to understand that, you know, the nodes being in Gemini can make us very foggy mentally. We currently have Mercury in shadow going direct. It's Mercury, which is the crown, you know, it's the third eye, it's your thoughts, it's your actions, it's your daily routine. We also had the full moon in Virgo, which again is Mercury in nature. And then we have the nodes there. So it's sort of like a triple whammy, and this is a vibration of 3 this month. So it's all the things you learned through Mercury retrograde, plus the Uranus and Taurus energy and Mars and Taurus. Is what are those changes that we directly need to make, tying up those loose ends and trying to change that map of what we're doing so that we can have a better outcome We will have all the planets direct, and I am going to do a video separately relating to Juno for the Twin Flame collectives, as well as anyone that wants to tune into Love Point Blank Zero, due to the fact that we are going to be having Juno going retrograde. Now, ironically, the South Node for the masculines is in Sagittarius. We also have Juno in Sagittarius as well, and it's quite unique because it's almost, you know, for those of you that are twin flames or you're looking at your romance house, even if you are comparing your counterpart energy to what they were in the past, it's a very unique position for it to take, because you will tend to find that, yes, for some of you, you may find that they are, and esoterically, it's more on a spiritual blockage level. But because it's the South Node, it's preventing them to do such, and it can become quite karmic in nature if they stay stuck. And with Juno being there, for feminines that are assessing their love life, it won't be a one-sided transaction. It will really be where, you know, let me have a look. Yeah, from our actions, how have we caused such? You know, and I'm not saying it's perpetrator victim consciousness. It's just very unique that both energies are in that element. One of masculines being the South Node, plus the fact that Mars directly links to transformations inside their life this year. It's a little bit like Forrest Gump and a box of chocolates. And also because Juno currently is assessing divine masculines, with Juno being in Sagittarius. Any questions in the house? Did I miss anything, Capricorn? Is there anything you want me to elaborate on? We're getting there. This Mercury energy makes me fizzled. How are we doing? And the light's really bright, so if I'm looking away, it's usually because I'm channeling. Any questions in the house? You're afraid you're going to fall asleep. It'll still be here later, Louise. So don't worry. Any questions? If you do want a booking, you can go to the link below. I'm going to decide which video I'm going to do next. I'm probably going to spread this over 2 days because there's probably no way I'm going to get them done in one hit. I'd psychically burn out. I had about 6 readings the other day, and it was back to back, and then I had the update. So you want to get the best out of it. I'm going to have to pace myself. Okay, I will be back a little bit later. Thank you for those of you who joined. Sweet dreams to those of you who are sleeping, and hopefully you can see this when you wake up. Thanks, guys.